Hello and welcome to another edition of Sand Shark Bites. This is your host, Justin Jarrett. I'm joined as always by my Duff-tastic co-host, Mr. James Duffy. We're scrambling around a little bit today because it's that time of year. The fall season now, Duffy, is officially in full swing. The women's golf team, the last of the fall teams to crack the seal on 2014, and they got underway this past weekend at the Daytona State tournament, the Lady Falcon Invitational. And, I think the results were probably not quite what Coach Alexis Bennett was looking for with a sixth place finish. But at the same time, you got three freshmen on that team, and they're, playing their first collegiate event. And the fall season for golf especially is all about getting experience, and they come away with some experience. And have you had a chance to meet any of these newcomers? I mean, we've got them from all over the globe.
I haven't met the newcomers as yet, but it is a great international side that we've got for this whole thing. It's when you look at the breakdown of who's playing and where they're from, it's great to see that USCB is drawing players from literally all over the world now. We've got an embarrassment of riches to look at with these players who are really strong freshmen coming up with some really strong seniors leading that team.
Yeah, and we introduced you to Sam O'Donnell last week on Between Two Fins. And we say thank you to Sam for submitting herself to such shenanigans, but she did a great job on there. And she was the only American in the starting five this weekend for Coach Alexis Bennett's team. As we mentioned, three freshmen. One of them was the leader for the weekend, Emily Turner from England, with 77 and 78 over the weekend, finished 13th overall, so a good start for her. Moa Christensen from Sweden and Franzi Noach from Germany also cracked the top five.
I'll let you say all their names every time. So.
And then Lena Sekrkova, who is from Slovakia. She's been here for a year already. She's a junior, and she was also in the top five along with Sam. So very interesting to see some of those folks from around the world. And I may have even left one off of there. I'm only counting four. Someone else in there. We've got a Slovak,
Germany,
England, Swede, Germany. No, I guess I got them all.
Hilton Head Island. Yeah.
And Hilton Head Island. Tori DeGroot not in the lineup. She had a hand injury she was dealing with during qualifying, but she'll be right there in the mix as well. Former All-American. So, that team not at full strength this week, and three of them playing their first collegiate event. Still a lot of room to grow, and they'll get a chance to get right back at it. And you'll get a chance to see them if you're local here. They're at Old South on Saturday and Sunday for the Lander Lady Bearcat Invitational. A lot of Division II teams out there, and we'll be one of the NAIA representatives. So I think it's good this early in the season with a lot of newcomers to get right back on the horse and get out there and play again.
And it's not really so much of a spectator sport as we can really gather and watch them, but we do need to still keep an eye on them and what they're doing just to show the support for those teams. On the flip side of the genetic coin, the men's golf team got a third place overall in their tournament this weekend.
Fourth place for the men, actually. We got confused
yeah.
about this earlier. Alan Cook with a third place individual finish, the men fourth down at Sea Island. Very strong field. The host team, Coastal Georgia, was the defending national champion, and they ran away with the team title. We were right there in the next tier, along with Warner and Thomas, who finished ahead of us from the Sun Conference. But right there in the hunt with them, so that's a good sign. And we also maybe didn't have our best five out there. Any given week, I think any five of about 10 or 12 guys could be our best five. That's the kind of team we have this year, where the B team could beat the A team any given week. And we'll talk to Chris Cuneo a little bit more about that on Coach Speak. But I know you've gotten to know a lot of those guys, and that's a fun bunch.
Yeah, the golfers are great. Cook, I haven't had in the classes yet. Is he a junior now?
He's a sophomore. It just feels like he's been here forever. With the fall and spring seasons with golf, it always feels like they have 8 years of eligibility.
Right, but they're a good bunch of guys, and we have great athletes across the whole spectrum of our sports. But it's great to see that those numbers come up where our players are leaders and still scoring high in all of our sports.
Yeah, and Alan Cook, 72-69, so both rounds at or below par. Very good start for him, and he was outstanding as a freshman last year, so we're looking for more big things from him.
And that 72-69 is like my front nine and back nine.
Yeah, exactly. We can do that in putt-putt on a good week, right? But they'll be off for a couple of weeks now, and then he's going to take the B team to Thomas, to Valdosta for the Thomas Invitational. Just an opportunity during the fall to get more guys, some competitive rounds, and some opportunities so he can see who who plays well when the lights are on, so to speak, when the pressure's on, and start to sort things out heading into the spring. And speaking of playing well when the lights are on, how about the USCB women's soccer team? We haven't seen them in ages. They go out to California. They got back in action, knocked the rust off, and knocked the jet lag off out at Bruton Parker, and a fantastic finish.
Took them 85 minutes to really come around, but scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes against Bruton Parker to put them ahead 3-2. Some names that we haven't seen coming up on our highlights board from some of those new players that have really now stepped up to take the place of all these injured veterans that we have.
Yeah, Fred Gallman actually got a start in goal,
Fred,
played the full 90 minutes.
Yes.
First career victory for Fred. Very
Fantastic.
proud of her. She has been a stalwart for this program, been here since the start, and has really put in the hard work to get an opportunity this weekend. Was great for her and for the girls to bail her out in the last few minutes, because from my understanding, talking to Coach Heberling, we dominated that game. We had countless shots on goal and just couldn't find the net. But finally, in the final 5 minutes, Haley Pena scores the equalizer, and then 2.5 minutes later, Alexandra Radu makes her first goal as a Sand Shark count, and we win that one 3-2. And that's a big boost, because we're going into a really tough weekend here. We go to Northwood, which is a top 5 team in the nation, on Friday, and then to open conference play, and then another big conference match against Johnson and Wales on Sunday. So it's going to be a big weekend, and really going to set the table for another big weekend coming up for homecoming October 4th.
That homecoming game at 1 o'clock on Saturday, October 5th. 4th. Is going to be a great game for us. It's going to be really well attended. There's going to be a lot of fans up from SCAD to make their voices heard, so we need to get a lot of our players, faculty, staff, fans, parents, everybody out to Finland to really support the home team in this game, because they're big talkers, those bees, and
we need to get the British girls over here to get on the camera and get working on that chant, because we really need to perfect that chant for homecoming. We are the Sand Sharks.
It looks good. It sounds good. We got to get it going. And then just a little segue for you there on that homecoming weekend with so many activities, and then Candace Glover, who's going to be singing Saturday night. Softball has scheduled 2 games for the day after that, on that Sunday.
Yeah, just in case we weren't busy enough that weekend, right? Get out to Hardyville on Sunday the 5th and check out the softball team. Be first look at a few newcomers. Most of them our fans will be very familiar with, because we have the 9 seniors and 13 returners coming back.
We didn't lose a whole lot last. I mean, we lost a lot kind of emotionally and in character as Melanie Goolsby and Allie Simmons,
but Allie is on as a student assistant coach now, so she'll still be around the program, and certainly her personality and her enthusiasm brings a lot to the team, so that is important to still have her around.
She's a great person just to have on campus. We like having her. She's a little mouthy.
Yes, she is.
She's
She's got some attitude about her, and we like that. We like a little spunk. Speaking of folks whose company we enjoy, your old pal Chase Rodas, the first guest on Between Two Fins, did it again. He ran with no shoes the first race of the season. This week, he does it high on painkillers. A day after he has his wisdom teeth removed, he finishes 13th with a time of 17:25. Pretty solid with no wisdom teeth.
He got 13th in the other one. Or was it 17th?
I can't recall exactly where he finished.
If he got the 2 13ths on a self-imposed handicap.
His pals Anthony Vecchio and Nick O'Neill are going to really get irritated if he keeps upstaging them with his wild race day antics, because they had another great day. Vecchio finished 2nd. O'Neill was 5th at the CIU Invitational up at Columbia International, where our old pal Kim Abbott, former AD, is now stationed. Vecchio ran a 16:19. O'Neill right behind him in 16:45, and the Sand Shark men finished 3rd overall in that race. Only guy who beat Vecchio was from Division II Armstrong State, Armstrong Atlantic, over in Savannah. So that's a great race for him. Good for him to get back on the horse after having to withdraw from the last race with the side cramp. Good to see him running well again. And they'll be right back at it next weekend, going up to UNC Charlotte, men and women in action up there. And should be a great race for Coach Larry Kimball's team. They're really starting to watch those times climb down and building toward the end of the season.
And still looking forward to the Sand Shark Invitational, which we'll have here October 24th.
25th?
I can't get my 4s and 5s right today, but it'll be here in Hardyville just down the road a piece, and it'll be a great time for people to come out and watch the cross country meet here, and what we can do as hosts to really put USCB on the map as far as good sportsmanship and good location for people to come and compete.
We talked to Coach Kimball the other day, and he's beginning to compile all the entries, and he's up to, I believe, 37 teams entered, and there are several more that he has heard from who plan to be here who just haven't entered yet. So we are looking at the biggest and best Sand Shark Invitational yet, and it just keeps growing every year. It's going to be fantastic. Ton of Division II teams in the field this year, as well as some of the top NAIA teams from throughout the Southeast and beyond. So it's going to be really awesome. If you enjoy running or really any competition at all, come out and check it out. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, that'll be great too. It'll be a good hot chocolate.
It usually is very nice,
weather.
even if it's warm, which it can still be at the end of October. They get off early enough in the morning that it's not too bad. And if it's cold, you just bundle up and you take off running and chase after them. And
bust out the snap brim.
Yes,
I'll
most likely be in the flannel line flat cap at that point. We were just discussing that signature hat of mine that I can't wear in the warm months because it's flannel lined, but it's hot enough around here as it is this time of year. But that's kind of the rundown for what's happening right now as far as the Sand Sharks are concerned. It is a busy time. We're kind of trying to catch our breath early in the week here. We pick it back up again for the weekend, and we'll be scrambling again next weekend. But while we have a little downtime, we're going to catch up with one of our coaches. Chris Cuneo of the men's golf team will join us next on Coach Speak, right here on Sand Shark Bites. Welcome back to Sand Shark Bites, joined now by USCB men's golf coach Chris Cuneo. And Chris, got the fall season underway last weekend. Went up down to Sea Island, coastal Georgia, St. Simon's Island down there, beautiful spot, and pretty good results. A fourth place finish in a very competitive field, and Alan Cook picked up where he left off during his great freshman season and had another great tournament. So, that first weekend is in the books. How are you feeling about how things got off to the start?
No, it was a solid start. Could have been a little better, but all things considered, a good way to start off the year. Alan did get off to a great start again, picking up from I think he was a third-team NAIA All-American last year, so just continuing that run, and hopefully he keeps it going. Looking forward, had some solid play from Chris Fink, who's a senior this year, and, Brad Curran, Chandler McDonald, Chandler Vilcek all contributed, and, looking forward to the rest of the fall.
The good news is all five of those guys are back from a solid team last year that finished in the top 20 in the nation. But in addition to that, you've got a number of newcomers who are still waiting on some paperwork to clear and stuff to get their eligibility taken care of. But it's going to be pretty competitive out there on qualifying dates this year, right?
It's true. This year we've already changed up the qualifying a little bit this year. We got in 7 rounds of qualifying before our first event, and the qualifying was much more competitive than in years past. There's a really solid group of players. New guys coming in this year, Jesse Maislin, transfer from Jacksonville State, but he's from Montreal, Canada, just kind of waiting on his eligibility to get cleared up. And Seth Rockwell is from the Pittsburgh area, who this summer, along with Chandler McDonald, one of my seniors, finished second in the Hilton Head Amateur Championship at Bear Creek Golf Club on the island, so solid player there. And then I also got Kirk Mitchell, who transferred in to finish up his collegiate career from Greensboro College. And C.J. Kelly, who is a fifth-year senior, who some of y'all might recognize from being one of the pitchers on the baseball team. He's a pretty good golfer. Looking forward to getting him some playing time this year too.
Yeah, so that's always nice to be able to play the hot hand a little bit. If somebody's fighting something a little bit, you can let them take a week off to work on it and get it worked out and plug somebody else in there. So that's fantastic. Now, you did have a little schedule change. You were looking to get some guys an opportunity this weekend, do a B-team thing at the Thomas Invitational, but schedule got crossed up a little bit, and so now you're going to be all hands on deck for that one, and that's one that we've played very well at over the years.
Looking forward to going to Thomas. They play at Kinderloo Forest in Valdosta, Georgia. We've had some success there in the past. Didn't play quite as good as we could have last year, but we've actually won there 2 years ago. I had to change the schedule up a little bit. The Southeastern tournament in Lakeland, Florida that I had scheduled for third week of October, got canceled due to conflicts with the golf course scheduling something. Anyway, so the A team and some individuals will travel to Thomas, so I'll be able to get some more guys some playing time, and yeah, looking forward to playing it. I mean, it's a great golf course. We enjoy going there every year. Great barbecue.
Hey, you may have to take the SID on that trip if there's great barbecue. A couple more big events coming up this fall that we can look forward to. The Johnson & Wales tournament will be the Sun Conference Fall Major, and then, of course, the NAIA Fall Preview down in Daytona, which, love to get back in that national championship while it's right here close to home at a course that you've seen many times over the years. That could be a huge advantage, right?
Yeah, the NAIA Fall Preview is going to be at LPGA International again. They're actually switching courses from last year. The national championship is and I can't think of the names of them, but they're switching over and playing the other course that they have there. It's a 36-hole facility. A little bit tougher course than the course played last year, but it's one that the guys, our guys are going to be used to kind of playing in the, southeast, tree covered and lagoons everywhere. Teams from the Midwest, it's going to be a little weird looking to them. And then the tournament that Johnson & Wales is hosting at the end of October, our fall major. Every team in the conference will be there, plus I think 5 or 6 other teams that are in the top 10, including Oklahoma City, Grandview, Texas Wesleyan's coming. It will probably be the best field that we'll see all year, and I would put it up there just as good a field as what will be at the national championships.
I was going to say exactly that. I mean, when you get all the teams from the Sun Conference together and a few of the top teams from outside, it's going to be as good or better than nationals. So the Sand Shark golf team will certainly be tested this fall and be battle ready for the spring. And we look forward to checking out those results as the season goes on. And we thank you for joining us here on Sand Shark Bites, Chris.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back with our first installment of Sand Shark Flashback with former USCB pitcher Michael Heesch. Hey, and welcome back to Sand Shark Bites. I'm joined now by former USCB pitcher and USCB graduate Michael Heesch. Michael, of course, no stranger to most Sand Shark fans, pitched for our NAIA World Series team a couple of years ago, and now he just finished up his 3rd season in the minor league system with the Chicago Cubs. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Fantastic season for you and the Kane County Cougars this year, your 3rd season in the minors. Got off to a little bit of an adverse start. You had appendicitis out in spring training, and that kind of set you back. But once you got back on the mound, it was really a great season. And tell us just a little bit about how this season went for you.
Yeah, it was a difficult start. Last week of spring training, had that emergency appendectomy and set me back about a month and a half. And up until that point, I was having a really good spring training. I got moved to the bullpen, and they said it fit my personality a little bit better. And I was really enjoying it, really embracing it, and having a lot of fun with it. And then the surgery happened, and it was a big setback. But going through rehab and everything, I kind of got lucky because there was a couple big league guys there that helped me out a lot with my stuff that I was kind of struggling with. And so it kind of worked out in the end, having that time to refine everything that I had been working on in spring training. And once I got the call to finally go to Kane County, I was a little bit excited, and because of the year I had there before, it wasn't too good of a year, in my opinion. And it was good to go to that team because they were already playing really well. I mean, they were 40 games, had 40 wins already in the first half. They were probably 7 games in the first place when I got there, and it was a great group of guys and working with the same coach I had my first and second year, and it was just a fun environment to be in. And, once I got there, the season just took off, and we kept playing well, and we had new guys coming in and out all the time. I mean, they always talked about, how we managed to win so many games with so many changes up and down. And, I think a lot of that speaks to the coaching staff that we had. Mark Johnson, the manager, my pitching coach, David Rosario, and I had worked with him my first year in Boise, and, he helped me out a lot out of the pen because it was new for me being a strictly just a pen guy, and helped me with dealing with left-handers and everything. And I had a good 2 months, and then had a little bit of a rough August, but it wasn't too bad. And then a rough July. It wasn't too bad, but came out in August, and we really refined things dealing with left-handers and dealing with right-handed hitters and stuff, and had a great August, and finished off the year strong. And it was unbelievable to see at the end of the year how well we did with 91 wins in the total season, and we were like the first team to get to 91, and we had reached 91 wins before, probably 2 weeks before any major league team did, before the Angels did. And when I saw that on Sports Center, when they hit 91 wins, I was shocked just to see how well we were doing, and setting that record for the season wins and everything, having the best overall record in all of baseball, majors and minor league included, having the best home record in all of baseball, majors and minor league included, and then winning out that playoff series, 7 games, no losses and everything, to finally get that win at the end of the year. It was, a cap off to an incredible season that started off really kind of rough, and it was just an unbelievable year to be a part of that team and to be with those guys and everything. And I really enjoyed it. I can't say that enough.
You and I are both grew up Cubs fans, so this is an interesting time for the organization. Obviously, it's been a transition time, a rebuilding time, but starting to be ranked as the top minor league system in the game, and starting to see some of those guys arrive at the big league level. What is the excitement level within the organization right now about the next few years?
It's really exciting. Getting the chance to go up to AAA this year, I got to play with Baez and Soler. I got to talk with Soler a bunch when he was down in rehabbing in spring or at the end of spring training in the month of April. I got to talk to Bryant and everything, and just getting around those guys and seeing how excited they are, to be here and to get those chances. And a lot of the guys that I know, pitching-wise, got called up. Kyle Hendricks, who's I saw 7-2 today. I mean, he's an unbelievable great guy. And just to see the success that they're having up at that level, is not only good for everybody in our organization, players-wise, to see how well they're doing, and it just kind of gives everybody that extra boost to want to make it and keep working hard. But the front office is doing a great job. They got a great plan in place. We have great coaching. We have great coaches, with our field coordinator to our pitching coach, Derek Johnson, who's former Vanderbilt pitching coach and everything. He's a great guy, high energy, fun guy. And, it's just a great organization to be in right now in terms of, learning and development. And there's a lot of opportunity there. And, I'm excited to be there and everything. And I know everybody else is. So it's an exciting time for the Cubs. And it's been a rough, long 100 years or so for them. But, it's good. It's good that, those guys got called up at the end of the year and they're having success for the fans and everything in Chicago, so they can see that, the last couple of years waiting, for Baez and for Soler and everything to get called up, to see these new guys and everything, for the fans to finally see, that, hey, we're going in the right direction. This is what we've come up with and everything, and to know that we're all working hard. I think it's good for the fans of Chicago to see that. And I think, it's a good direction to have, and it's a good place to be, in my opinion.
Now, it's going to be an exciting and interesting offseason for the Cubs, obviously, as they, start to fill in some of the gaps around those young players and maybe make a run at some free agents. Always an interesting offseason for you, because you come right back here to Bluffton and to Hardyville out at Richard Gray Sports Complex and work out with the team and everything. What is it about the environment here at USCB that keeps you coming back in the offseason?
Well, when I got here in 2011, I was struggling with my career, and coming here really turned it around for me. And it's almost it's kind of home now and everything. So it's nice to come back and see kind of where you came from and everything. And I love coming back because a lot of my friends are here, and Llewellyn's here, and it's just nice to get out and help the guys and everything, because it gives me opportunity to give back to the school not only, and the program, what it gave to me. And it's just a way for me to relax and be able to focus on what I need to focus on for next year. And just being able to do that in this kind of environment that I feel so comfortable in makes it so much easier, rather than, going back to Chicago where it's really cold and there's not much you can do up there. So the weather does help. But for me personally, it's more of a, you know, like a state of bliss, almost, you could say, coming back here. I mean, yeah, Richard Gray Stadium's you know, it's a far cry from Wrigley Field. It's a far cry from some of those minor league parks that we get to play in, but, you know, still it kind of humbles you to see, like, what you came from and, you know, what other people are doing, and it makes you work hard. It makes you appreciate what you have. And you know, you can kind of get caught up in the lights and the being treated so nicely in professional baseball, and be able to do that and come back and see, you know, what you came from, that blue-collar attitude that we have. It kind of resets your batteries and gets you, you know, back to what you were doing that made you so successful. So that's why I come back. You know, it's fun to see everybody, and, you know, there's just a lot of family here. You know, a lot of friends that I started out with became family, and it's nice to see them. It's nice to come back. It's nice to talk to them and tell them, you know, see how they're doing and see how everybody's grown up. And, you know, I remember JJ Crespo and Junior De La Torre being freshmen when I was here, and now they're seniors, and just to see how much they've grown and see how much Llewellyn's grown as a coach and everything, and where the program's gone. And it's just awesome for me to see that, and that's kind of why I come back.
Well, and we always love having you. It's always great to see you around and catch up with you. And maybe someday, after that first big major league deal, you can come back to Michael Heesch Stadium. You know, big gift. Or I think the joke has been that you're going to name it after Mitchell Johnson, right?
Yeah, I told last year they were talking about it, saying that I had to name it after me, and I said no, you can name like the bathrooms in the locker room after me, because I don't want to take that kind of credit. I mean, you know, I said I was going to name it after Mitch and everything. But, you know, yeah, I mean, most of my success, yeah, it's personal success. You can look at it that way. But, you know, without the guys that I played with, without Llewellyn, and, you know, without those guys, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's, you know, it's good, you know, to have the personal success, but it's also good to remember, you know, that, you know, I didn't do this alone. I had a lot of help. And that's also kind of why I came back, or why I do come back, is to, you know, understand that and be reminded of that over and over again. And, you know, just kind of keep reiterating what we did in 2012 to these new guys that come in. And so that Sand Shark baseball mentality that we've always had here kind of continues on, and that legacy continues on, not just for me and my personal belief in it, but for everybody else's that worked so hard to make it the way the program is. And everything.
Well, we love to watch you, you know, go out and stretch your wings and do what you've done in the minor leagues, and we look forward to watching you climb that ladder with the Cubs or wherever you wind up. But we also love having you come home, and you always have a home here at USCB. Thanks for joining us on the show, Mike, and we'll be right back with more on Sand Shark Bites.
At the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, we offer small classes, individual attention, and an affordable education in an atmosphere that fosters diversity and achievement.
We are students.
We field 9 Sand Shark sports teams that compete in the Sun Conference.
We are athletes.
We are one university with 2 campuses serving the coastal areas of South Carolina and Georgia.
We are the Low Country.
We are the fastest growing 4-year school in the University of South Carolina system. We are USCB.
Welcome back to Sand Shark Bites. We're just about done with another episode, but one more thing to do. We've got to hand out the hardware, the Athlete of the Week. And after a quick conferring between Duffy and I, we've settled on Anthony Vecchio. He's the cross-country runner we mentioned earlier. Second place finish at the CIU Invitational. Came on strong with a 16:19 time in the 5K. Still waiting to see what he's going to do in the 8K this year, but I think he is really going to make up some time and be right there in the top 5 in the conference when the end of the year comes. And he's got Nick O'Neill pushing right behind him. So Nick gets an assist on this one. Anthony Vecchio, the Athlete of the Week, with an assist to Nick O'Neill. And we'll catch up with those guys a little bit later. I think they're prime suspects to sit down between the fens and chat with Mr. Duffy over here. Well, we thank you for joining us for another episode of Sand Shark Bites. And we hope that you'll be back next week for yet another episode. And until then, keep those fins up.